This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter, and welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. And ironically, with Euro's knockout stages set to go today, that being June 26th of 2021, we shall look at another Euro tournament for this on this day. But it's a final happening almost 3 decades ago, 29 years ago. That in 1992, when Denmark took on West Germany. Oh, sorry, Germany. I forgot they were unified at that time to win the title. Now, this is huge. Euro 92 was hosted by Sweden. Not really a soccer nation when you look at it. You're thinking hockey and bandy, which is, of course, hockey played outdoors, but basically Sweden would host it. They did host the 1958 World Cup, though. This was the ninth time that the Euros had held every 4 years. One of the biggest moments, well, one of the biggest things to realize in this 1992 Euro tournament was that there was only 8 teams in Euro, not like the 24 we have now. So you basically had to be the best of the best. Basically, Sweden and 7 winners of group stages of qualifying rounds got into it. You take second, too bad, so sad. So anyway, this would be the last tournament with 8 teams. As in 96, they decided to double it to 16, just in time to see it head to England. The winner of each game would get 2 points before the introduction of the 3 points per win rule, basically trying to get them to have more points. And this was the last tournament before the introduction of the back pass rule, which meant that if a goalie picks up a back pass, it's a free kick to the other team. Basically, they did that because of time wasting, and the 1990 World Cup had screwed up everything. So anyway, it was down to Sweden and Spain to host the event. However, because Spain had Expo 92 and the Summer Olympic Games, basically, I think they wanted to give Sweden a chance. So 7 teams had to qualify for the final stage. Sweden automatically qualified. The Soviet Union qualified for Euro 92, but then they had the breakup of the country, which meant that they had to represent as a CIS, the Commonwealth of Independent States, because the former Soviet republics would have to form their own national team after the competition. The CIS team represented 11 of the 15 ex-republics. Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Moldova, and Tajikistan. 4 of the other 4 republics were not part of the CIS. Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania didn't send their players, and Georgia wasn't there. So yeah. And then Yugoslavia also qualified for the final stage. And we're hoping to be a powerhouse. They had a good team. They had players that won a European Cup with Red Star Belgrade the previous year. However, there was a major war, a genocide in Yugoslavia. So basically, they were disqualified. And the runner-up in their group was Denmark. So Denmark took part in the championship. However, they only had 11 days to prepare for the tournament because of all these things. So anyway, qualifying groups. Group 1, France won the first qualifying group over the Czechs and Spaniards. Spain really had a bad time Euro qualifying. All that. But France went El Perfecto, 8-0. In Group 2, Scotland beat Switzerland and Romania only by 1 point to get into the tournament. I'm surprised that Scotland could get into these tournaments and all that. So anyway, Group 3 saw the Soviet Union get in. They would have got in anyway, but then the CIS had to come in because of the breakup of the Soviet republics. Italy took second, which is unusual. But the problem is Italy lost only one game in their qualifying group with the Soviets, Norway, Hungary, and Cyprus. But they tied 4 times, and that cost them dearly. Group 4, Yugoslavia beat Denmark by 1 point, but because of sanctions by the UN Security Council because of the civil war, they were basically suspended from competitive football. And Denmark took the spot. Denmark was 6-1-1. That was pretty good. Group 5. It was supposed to be East Germany and West Germany in the same group, but because they reunified, they were the same. Germany almost botched it. They were 5-1. Wales actually beat Germany in one game and almost shocked Germany against the Group 6. Holland just narrowly beat Portugal for the spot, and England was 14 group, Ireland, Poland, and Turkey. However, England nearly botched themselves. They had 3 wins and 3 ties. Ireland was second with 2 wins and 4 ties. So basically, everyone beat up on poor Turkey, who played 6 games. All that 7 of the 7 total wins in Group 7 actually were against Turkey. So basically, England, Ireland, and Poland only had 1 win in matches against each other. So that was weird. So, anyway. Yeah. So, they decided they had 2 14 groups. Top 2 in each group would move on to knockout stages. First group would be Sweden, Denmark, France, and England. At a glance, you'd probably think that France, who seemed to be unstoppable, and well, they were off losing a chance to get to the 90 World Cup. England, who got to the World Cup semifinals, looked good on paper. Denmark and Sweden possibly as a host, but Denmark couldn't really justify it. However, Denmark had the 2 Laundrops. A guy named Henrik Larsson, not the Swedish striker, but someone in Denmark, John Jensen, and between the sticks, one of the best goalies for Manchester United in history, and that's saying a lot. 1, Peter Schmeichel. So Sweden and France tied each other in the first group stage match. Eriksson scored for Sweden. France with Jean-Marie Papin. Denmark shocked everyone by holding England to a scoreless tie. England again went to a scoreless tie in the second round of games, tying France 0-0. Sweden beat Denmark 1-0 on a goal by Thomas Berlin. It looked dim for Denmark because, they lost only 1 game, went 2 wins. Sweden would then pounce on England 2-1, despite England scoring on David Platt's goal. So basically, England gave up 2 goals in 3 games, but they still sucked. Sweden won 2-1, 1 goals by Eriksson and Berlin. Denmark shocked everyone by beating France. Even though France had a goal by Papin, Denmark scored with Larsson and Elstrup. Elstrup's goal sent Denmark to the second round. If it was a tie, then France would have gotten an on-goal differential. Group 2 saw Holland, Germany, Scotland, and CIS/Soviet Union play. Holland beat Scotland on a Bergkamp goal. CIS ended up tying Germany 1-1. Germany needed a late goal by Thomas Hasler to avoid shame. Germany would then beat Scotland 2-0. Holland and the Soviets tied 0-0. Then Holland and Scotland both put up big wins, especially Scotland with McSlay, McClare, and McAllister. Can't make shit up. Unfortunately, Scotland's thing was too little too late. They had 2 points. They only had 2 points. A win and 2 losses. Germany had a win and a tie. So basically, Scotland was screwed over. Holland would beat Germany 3-1 to move on. And it looked like it was going to be Holland versus Sweden in the semifinals. In the final. Sweden, home country crowd against the Germans, the defending world champions. It looked like it would be tough. Unfortunately for the home country Swedes, they lost 3-2. Thomas Hassler scored once, and Tobias Thomas Riedel scored twice. Berlin and Kenny Anderson scored for Sweden. Bad news for Sweden. But the good news for Sweden is that they actually somehow, in some way, pulled themselves into a third place game against Bulgaria at the next World Cup. So, whatever. So anyway, Holland and Denmark would face each other. Through extra regulation and extra time meant nothing. Larsen scored twice for Denmark. Bergkamp and Rijkaard for Holland. Then it went to penalties. Denmark had Larsen, Gilson, Elstrup, Vilfort, and Christoffel score their penalty kicks. Holland had 5 penalty kicks. Koeman, Van Basten, Bergkamp, Rijkaard, and Wilshere. But the guy who botched this penalty was the guy who was the hero in the 1988 final, Marco Van Basten. And Denmark shocked everyone by going to the final. There were no third place game, obviously. With 8 teams, I mean, that's stupid. So Germany had a chance to do the double, the World Cup winners and then the European Championships. Kind of like what they did in the 70s. 72, they were the Euro champs, and then 74, they won the World Cup and almost won another Euro, but they lost by the Panenka goal. So anyway, Denmark took on Germany, and everyone thought that Germany was going to crush them. Tell that to John Jansen and to Vilfort, as Denmark shocked Germany 2-0 to win the European Championship. Peter Schmeichel and Brian Laudrup were named to the team of the tournament. All that. Yeah, it's amazing. All that. Sweden did a good tournament and all that. Hosted a good tournament. So Jan Jansen and Kim Vilfort were the heroes. This was a shock. A massive shock. The Danish players will never be forgotten. Peter Schmeichel, Lars Olsen, Torben Pielczek, Kent Nielsen, John Svelbach, Kim Christoffel, John Jensen, Kim Vilfort, Henrik Larsson, Brian Laudrup, Flemming Pedersen, and Klaus Christensen. I mean, Germany had some decent players, like Ilgner between the sticks, Kohler and Helmer, Stefan Reiter, Anders Bremme, Sommer, Effenberg, Hassler, Riedel, and Klinsmann. But, Germany lost the plot. Germany had 4 yellow cards in that that match. So you could tell that Denmark really wanted it more. And they shocked everyone by 11 days before the tournament, just told you're going to be in Euro. And then they pull out a stunner against France. That win was huge because that would have gotten, without that win, France would have been in the semifinals. But anyway, Denmark really proved its mettle. I believe it's the biggest Euro shock in history, other than Greece in 2004. Just saying. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.